Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Raven Maureen, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my pattern review for Simplicity pattern 9929. Now this has become quickly a personal favorite of mine. I recently made this and I am 100% in love with it. You can't talk me off this ledge. Like this is a really good pattern. So let's start with the basics. This is categorized as a Mrs. and women's lounge set. It actually goes from an extra small all the way to a 5XL, which in the number pattern or the number sizing would be a size 4 all the way to a 38 women's. So that's a pretty big size range right there. And then also this is for knit patterns. So on the back they have that that pick a knit, I guess it's called, yeah, pick a knit 2-inch rule right here. And then this does call for stretch knits such as bamboo, cotton knit blends, jacquard, jersey, rib knit, and then sweatshirt fleece, terry knit. So basically all the knits that you can think of, this is what this calls for. So I personally cut out a size medium for this, and I will just show you guys real quick because this pattern range goes up pretty high to the 5XL. The finished garment measurements are actually on the right here on the first page of the pattern, bottom corner. So it does have the finished garment measurements for the pants, which is the hip, and so based off of that, the hip for a size medium, which is my size, is a 44-inch. I range between 42 and 43-inch hip, and so I was like, well, that's actually 44.5 inches is actually pretty decent for me. I didn't want to go any smaller than that because I did want this to fit like how it's fitting Mimi and Brittany. It's kind of like still, it's slightly fitted through the waist and then it flares all the way out, and then of course it's fitted through the bum and whatnot as well. So the top is very interesting, and I got a couple questions in my stories when I shared that I was actually making this on Instagram, and a few of you asked about sizing for the top. I cut a medium for the top as well, and how I got there was that I pretty much measured the flat pattern piece, and that's something that I highly recommend that you do. Not only did I measure the flat pattern piece, but I also took into account that this pattern is made from knits. The pattern piece you actually cut on the bias, and then the individual blouse literally has a drape. So with all of those, I guess you can call factors, it allowed me to really understand and see that, oh, like even if I come in a little bit small, I'm still going to have a decent amount of room and ease in this because of that drape and because it was cut on the bias of knit fabric. A little bit about my fabric. I actually did a black Ponte knit that I had in my stash. I bought this months ago when I was making my all black wardrobe set for when I first started working at David's Bridal. I had like 3 yards of this fabric left over. I honestly, for me personally, did not see this being in any other color for me, and so I chose the black. And I know, like, on social media, black is hard to see, it's hard to like read and just everything, and so I decided to kind of do like a get ready with me video to kind of just showcase like what this outfit could really be. So the intention for my outfit, in all honesty, we were supposed to go on a trip, but we had a family emergency, and so now we're not going. But this was actually going to be a travel day outfit for me, and so, but also in doing the get ready with me video, I realized that this outfit can honestly transcend more than a travel day. Like, this outfit can be dressed up or dressed down. I paired mine with heels, but obviously, like in a real life setting, I would probably wear sneakers with this. But to be honest with you, like, not only is it comfortable, but it's very stylish. Like, it's something about that drape, it's something about the pants length that just kind of like set it off in a certain way. And so if you haven't looked at this pattern yet, if you haven't decided if you want it in your stash or not, I highly recommend that you give this a second look because it's good. So there's some unique characteristics when it comes to this specific pattern. Of course, there's the drape neckline. There's also the armbands. The armbands go like down past the bust line. And then you've got like a waistband. So I actually did watch the sew along for this because this was one of those trust the process type patterns. And I was like, wait a minute, I gotta watch this in real time, because I was just like, how is this supposed to go? The shirt pattern, because it's a drape, it's almost like you have to like visualize it in 3D, I guess you could say, in order to like get through it. So that's why I had to watch the sew along. But you know, honestly, Mimi, she does an excellent job, like she always does, with showing like, you know, where to sew and whatnot. So I did struggle a little bit. The only reason I did not struggle on the drape was because there is a very similar neck pattern, or not neck pattern, but blouse pattern that I've worked with for like with Simplicity Patterns. And so that didn't necessarily surprise me, but the shape of it, I was like, oh, this doesn't look like a blouse at first. But the armholes, I definitely needed a little bit of guidance with the armholes, which is why I went to watch the tutorial. And come to find out, I was honestly just overthinking the armhole situation. I say all that to say that the armholes were definitely like a trust the process moment. The waistband on the blouse, I was looking at my waistband pattern piece and I was like, gosh, did I cut out the right size? I was like, is this the right size? And then I kept looking at it like, is there supposed to be 2? No, it's just supposed to be 1. And it is definitely one of those where you have to stretch and sew it at the same time. And I really mean that, like stretch and sew it, stretch and sew it, because the waistline pattern piece for the blouse is very small compared to the actual blouse piece. And that's how you get that blousey look right underneath your bust line is through that piece. But also, I say that to say, make sure you have a good knit that has excellent resistance. The Ponte knit that I used has excellent resistance, and so with trying this on and off and taking it on and off, it had the same resistance as the first time I put it on. So yeah, so that's one thing. And then the other thing I also did was when I realized that the waistband pattern piece was kind of small compared to like the actual shirt body of the shirt, I clipped in a few notches on the waistband pattern piece to help with that stretching and sewing part. If you do that, I think that it would make your life in sewing this pattern a whole lot easier. The pants actually came together very quickly. I did not realize until I started cutting out pattern pieces that there was a gusset piece. So normally I'm used to gussets just being like a little like wedge. No, this one goes from like one hem all the way through the crotch and down to the other hem. This gusset is huge, but you just cut one of it and it gives that like flare gaucho look that we all know that comes with this pattern. So it definitely alters the shape of the pant leg in a good way. So if you want more of that body and movement in your pants, that's how that happens. It's through the gusset piece. So I thought that the gusset would be way more complicated to add to the pattern than it was. I literally was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, how is this going to come together? There's a gusset, there's 2 pairs of pants. And I took one look at the instructions and at the tutorial, and I was like, oh, that was easy. There's plenty of videos and resources out there already for this pattern. Of course, don't forget the sew along. Highly recommend that you take a look at that. And then of course, there's, I think, a handful of videos out already on this pattern, including my own. So yeah, just a ton of resources if you're interested in making this pattern. So a couple of things that I did different, and it wasn't honestly that much. Like, I didn't change a thing on the blouse. I did change a couple of things on the pants. Like, I know the pants call for a drawstring, but to be fair, I didn't have black cording. And plus, I felt like with the waistband from the top, it kind of covers the pants in a way. So I was like, I don't think that the cording would be absolutely necessary for me to have in the drawstring. The other thing was, I believe I cut off 2 inches of the hem of the pants. So I did that as well. And then in watching the tutorial, Mimi does mention that you can leave your pockets unfinished. And so I did that. And I kind of like that piece of it, is that it is unfinished, which is something I've not really done before on a knit pattern, but I was like, you know what? I want to live on the edge. I want unfinished pockets. It's okay. So I did that as well. But honestly, there weren't that many modifications with this. And again, like I said, like this pattern transcends the casualness of it. I think that you can dress it up or down. I certainly plan on wearing it a few different ways and a few different times. So there's that. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Now, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're not following me already, you can follow me at Raven Maureen right here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.